Most men believe that losing morning erections is simply part of aging. But if I tell you that's not the case, the reality is that the silent disappearance of your morning strength has nothing to do with age. It's due to something much more unexpected and, surprisingly, much simpler to resolve. Right now, inside you, your entire erection system remains intact, ready, and capable. All you need is to know the exact points, 3 essential points in your virility and lower body, that when pressed in the precise way can restore your morning erections naturally, without drugs, devices, or embarrassment. I am Dr. Sandra Pereira, and I have helped many men in their 60s, 70s, and even beyond recover the strength and blood flow they thought they had lost forever. What I'm about to share doesn't require a prescription, just your hands, your breath, and a few minutes of your time. Here's the secret. These 3 points are already in your body. However, most men never stimulate them correctly. They are science-backed zones capable of enhancing circulation, sensitivity, and sexual energy. And once you learn to awaken them, everything changes. So stay with me, because in a moment, I'll guide you step by step through each one and show you how to combine them with 5 simple habits that will multiply your results. The first truth I wish every man over 60 heard from his doctor is this: your body isn't broken, it's just asleep. That morning strength you used to wake up with hasn't disappeared, it has simply gone quiet. And now, with just a few minutes of focus, touch, and breathing, we can restore that energy. Your body isn't broken, it's just sleeping. Let me share something I've never found in a medical textbook, but discovered by listening carefully. Most of the changes we feel after 60 aren't signs of damage, they're signs of disconnection. I've seen strong, proud men in my office who lower their voices and confess, "Doctor, I used to wake up hard as a rock. Now I wake up and feel nothing." I always look them in the eyes and reply, "Nothing is broken. Your body has just fallen asleep, and we can wake it up again." The truth is that your virility, circulation, sensitivity, and response are still there. They haven't vanished. They've just been neglected. Your blood vessels still work, but they've become slower. Your nerves remain intact, but they've been ignored. Your body has stopped receiving the signals it once understood effortlessly. And the most painful part is that many men blame themselves, thinking they've failed or that their masculinity is lost. Nothing could be further from the truth. Imagine this. If a switch isn't flipped for years, the room stays dark. But that doesn't mean the electricity is gone, just that no one has pressed the switch. The 3 points I'm about to teach you are exactly that switch. They don't awaken with force or pressure, but with awareness, breathing, and intention. I've seen men shed tears when warmth returns to their lower body, not just for pleasure, but for hope. It shows they're still alive down there, still capable, still whole. This isn't just about erections. It's about reconnecting with that part of you that once defined your youth, your confidence, and your masculinity. The first step is learning to listen to your body again. It has been speaking to you in a whisper all this time, but you didn't know how to understand it. Now you will. The first point is located just above your pubic bone. It's a sensitive area that most men have never touched with intention, but once they do, everything starts to transform, and often faster than they imagine. This zone, when gently stimulated, acts as a master switch, sending signals to the brain, activating neuromuscular connections, and improving circulation to the deeper tissues. When you place your attention there, you don't just feel tingling or warmth. You feel something ignite within you. Don't force it. Breathe. Let your fingers rest there for a few minutes and allow your body to do what it already knows how to do. Reactivate, reconnect, respond. The second point is located between the anus and the scrotum. It's an area known in Eastern medicine as the perineum. In most Western texts, it doesn't have a name, but it's far more important than you might think. It functions like a valve that retains or releases energy based on tension. When you gently sit on a rolled towel or a soft surface without forcing and breathe deeply, this zone begins to release. The pressure disappears, and the blood that has been stagnant for years starts flowing again. The nerves awaken, sensitivity returns little by little, not all at once, but enough to restore hope. No medications or machines are needed, just you, your breath, and a few minutes of calm. At first, it might feel strange, but the results outweigh any initial discomfort. And once you start, you wonder why no one taught you this before. I remember a man who wrote to me weeks after starting this simple exercise. He said, "Dr. Sandra Pereira, I sat, I breathed, and this morning I felt like myself again." The third point is even more unexpected. It's not on your penis, not even close. It's along your inner thigh muscle. This soft hidden area is actually a vital highway for blood. Along the line where your thigh meets your torso runs a powerful path of circulation. There lies the femoral artery, and a network of nerves and vessels that nourish your sexual organs. When this zone hardens or blocks, your body stops getting what it needs. If you lie down and gently run your fingertips from the thigh junction downward, you'll notice points of tension or sensitivity. Stop there. Breathe. Apply light pressure for a few seconds. Over time, this unblocks what was closed, and most importantly, gives you control. You're no longer waiting for something external to work. You're taking action. And that action, in itself, is medicine. It transforms something deep, not just in the body, but in your identity. Many men report that after a few days, they feel more energy in their legs, deeper rest, even renewed mental clarity. It's as if the entire lower system awakens, not just your virility. The truly powerful thing about these 3 points isn't their location, but what they represent. A return home. A return to feeling whole. A return to recognizing yourself. What I often notice in men hearing me for the first time is that mix of doubt and curiosity. They look at me with a raised eyebrow, as if still deciding if what I'm saying is too good to be true. And I understand without judging. They've heard too many empty promises, seen too many ads for miracle pills, and eventually resigned themselves to living with less energy, less desire, less response. But what moves me is seeing how their faces change the moment they start noticing the first signs of life returning. Sometimes it's a tingling, other times a firmer pulse in the morning, or a sensation that seemed lost and suddenly reappears. And it's in that moment that a new kind of confidence is born. Not because I say so, but because their own body confirms it, because it responds. What many men don't know is that the pelvic musculature is deeply connected to erectile capacity. And I'm not just talking about the external muscles. I'm talking about a whole deep network of support, irrigation, and neurological control. When these muscles weaken, not only does your strength decrease, but so does your sensitivity, and more seriously, your sense of control. That's why so many men with weakness in this area not only suffer from dysfunction, but also urine leaks, lower back fatigue, or discomfort when sitting. The good news is that these muscles can be trained again. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. All you need is awareness and consistency. Simple exercises, guided breathing, and the right touch can do more for your manhood than any expensive supplement. One of the practices I teach my patients is a 3-phase breathing sequence. In the first phase, lie down calmly with both hands on your lower abdomen. The breath should descend, not stay in the chest. You need to feel this area expand gently. The second phase involves carefully contracting the pelvic floor muscles as you exhale, as if stopping the flow of urine. The third phase is holding that contraction for 3 seconds, keeping the tension fixed in that area. Just with this exercise done for 5 minutes a day, you can awaken a neuromuscular network that may have been dormant for years. And when that network reactivates, you start noticing transformations. Your posture changes, your way of walking changes, and of course, your sexual response changes. Men have confessed to me that after 2 weeks with this exercise, not only did they recover morning erections, but they also started sleeping better, feeling more self-assured, even opening up more intimate and deep conversations with their partners. Because when you restore a part of yourself you thought was lost, something in your spirit lifts too. Now, not everything is based on exercises or breathing. What you put into your body every day, every food, also determines how much it can heal, how much it can reactivate. And that's where many fail without realizing it. They eat the same as always, without noticing that with age, metabolism changes, needs change, and above all, sensitivity to certain foods increases. One of the silent enemies of men's health after 60 is chronic inflammation. It's not always visible, not always felt, but it's present in the joints, blood vessels, intimate tissues, and this inflammation acts as a blocker. It prevents blood from flowing properly, nerves from transmitting well, regeneration from happening. That's why I insist so much on anti-inflammatory eating. It doesn't need to be complicated. It just requires conscious choices. Swap margarine for olive oil. Replace processed meats with blue fish. Trade white bread for whole oats. And above all, include foods that promote nitric oxide production. This natural gas dilates vessels and allows better circulation to all areas of the body, including the most important one for you. Some of the most effective are beet juice, watermelon, raw spinach, garlic, and pure cocoa. And this is science, not tradition. Studies have shown that men who consume these foods regularly experience improvements in blood flow, blood pressure, and sexual performance without needing drugs. Of course, eating something once won't produce miracles. As I always say, the body responds to what you do every day, not what you do occasionally. That's why the key is routine. A simple, well-designed routine adapted to your age, your reality, and above all, sustained by self-love. If you've been feeling disconnected, fatigued, or less manly lately, I want you to know that this doesn't define you. What defines you is what you choose to do about it. You can resign yourself, or you can start. And starting doesn't mean doing everything perfectly from day one. It means showing yourself that you're still willing to take care of yourself, to feel alive, to reconnect with the strength that has always lived inside you. What moves me most in this work isn't just seeing bodies change, but how gazes change. There's something in the way a man stands up after weeks of reconnecting with his body. Something in the eyes, in the voice, that's impossible to fake. It's not just pride, it's presence. It's the feeling of having recovered something you thought was lost. Control. Many men tell me at the beginning that they doubt they can do it. "Doctor, what if it's too late for me?" they ask. And I always reply the same. The body doesn't have a clock. It has memory. And when you give it clear signals, when you touch it with attention and intention, it starts to remember, sometimes faster than imagined. The key isn't seeking immediate results, but building a different relationship with yourself. This activation routine isn't just about improving erectile function. It's about recovering complete vitality. Because when your blood circulates better, your digestion improves, your mind clears, you sleep more deeply, and you wake up feeling lighter. Everything is interconnected. And here's a crucial point that many men overlook: stress. Stress is one of the silent killers of manhood. When you live in constant anxiety, the body enters defense mode. Vessels contract, hormone production slows, desire is suppressed. And all this happens without you noticing. That's why incorporating moments of pause, deep breathing, and conscious contact isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. I always recommend nighttime rituals that include attentive touch. You don't need to do anything complicated. Just warm your hands, breathe, and gently run them over your lower abdomen, inner thighs, and perineum. It's not about stimulating, it's about reconnecting, telling your body, I'm here, I hear you, you matter to me. It seems small, but over time, that attention turns into confidence, and that confidence into response. I remember a man who wrote to me from Colombia. He said he'd spent years feeling disconnected, as if his body no longer belonged to him. He started doing the exercises, the pressure points, the breathing and eating habits. In a few weeks, not only did he recover morning erections, but his wife said something that changed his life. It's been a long time since I saw that light in your eyes. And she wasn't referring to sex, but to the presence, the life that returns when you truly take care of yourself. Because yes, caring for your body also means caring for relationships, mood, self-esteem. I've seen older men start speaking with more confidence, participating more actively in family life, laughing more. Not because of a pill, but because of a consistent practice that gives them back control. Now, I don't want you to think everything will be immediate or perfect. There will be days when you feel tired, frustrated, unmotivated. That's normal. It's part of the process. The important thing is to stop. Do even a little. Maybe just the breathing or a minute of massage. Your body doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency, and every small step adds up. Every breath counts. There's one more thing I want to say before we integrate all this. You're not alone. You're not the only one who's felt shame, fear, or frustration from body changes. What changes everything is when you decide to talk about it, act, move, touch, breathe, and keep going. That's what makes you strong. And if you've come this far with me, that tells me you're ready, that you're not looking for temporary fixes, but something real, deep, and lasting. Something you can do with your own hands, in your own home, without depending on anyone. What follows is how to turn all this into a life ritual. It's not an isolated technique, it's a commitment to yourself, a commitment that starts with the body, but also transforms the soul. Now that you know the key points, the daily habits, and the power in your own hands, all that's left is to integrate this into everyday life. This doesn't mean doing everything perfectly from day one. It's about creating, in each day, even if small, a space for yourself, a moment when you remind yourself that you're still strong, that your body deserves care, and that your masculine energy is still alive within you. You can start tonight. Breathe deeply. Place your hands on the areas you've learned about and take a few minutes to simply feel. No pressure, no rush. Just you with yourself. Maybe you'll notice warmth, tingling, or maybe nothing yet. That's okay. The important thing is that you're present, you're there, and that already changes things. Over time, this practice becomes something bigger, a new language between you and your body. A bridge between your mind and your virility. And that, dear reader, is what many men never discover, that your masculinity isn't lost. It's waiting to be recognized again, with respect, patience, and action. I want you to take this with you. You're not broken. You're not alone. And it's never too late to feel connected, present, and strong again. Every body ages, but not all fade. Some, like yours, can learn to light up again with just a bit of care, knowledge, and will. What you've learned here isn't just a technique. It's an invitation to remember who you are. A complete man, capable, worthy of feeling, enjoying, and living every stage of life fully. If you decide to take this as a new beginning, I'll feel honored to have been part of that path. Because in the end, the most important thing isn't what happens in your body, but what you decide to do with it. And finally, as I always tell my patients, before starting any new practice, even a natural one, listen to your body and consult your trusted doctor if you have doubts or specific conditions. The goal is to heal, not to take unnecessary risks. Thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. I'm certain that if you follow through with commitment, this will be just the first of many positive transformations to come. M.